Hey, good evening. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. 10 o'clock here, or very close to it, so I'm looking at some of the things that I've seen on our channel. I should just mention first, we're very excited and thank all of our subscribers and all of you new guys who have suddenly found our channel and done as we've asked, which is to subscribe. It does make a huge difference, and we're very happy and proud to be a little part of your life in that you do watch us. So this is terrific for us. We've now reached 55,000 and we're already on our way to 56,000. So we're looking, we hope, at 60,000 by certainly in the next sort of 2 weeks. It's amazing. When it starts, it's kind of like what they say about the floodgates opening, that it seems so difficult. And personally, I like that expression. Let me see, that example, not expression, that example where if your car stalls and you need a few people to help you to push, for those people, it's a little bit difficult at first, and you push, and finally you get the car moving, and then finally you get it faster and faster. And then you hit the ignition and it goes, and everybody doesn't have to push anymore. They can just walk along and wait till you stop and get in and ride. So enjoy the ride. We're really happy to have you along. So I was just looking at, at some of the things that I said, which actually a lot of them have made it funny for me. So one was a little success story. I like these success stories which actually make you feel good. I don't know why there seems to be such a resistance on feeling good. You know, that you get people and they want to point out everything that's wrong, and I never quite understand that. But anyway, I had a comment or a message. I think that this was a message or an email. Sorry, I've taken a lot of notes down here, so I don't remember exactly how I came across this. But this subscriber said about giving and how he enjoyed the way that Beth and I managed to give. And he said it doesn't take a lot. He said in a mall, he was in a mall, I think, and he said, I gave a simple cake for a 4-year-old child. And he said I'm assuming that she was very happy. Just a simple little cake for a kid. And he said, I'll sleep well tonight knowing that it did my heart good. And that's always what I try to get over. I try to get that over so that you won't think that you have to do some enormous program where you go in and you have some kind of a big corporation like the Red Cross or something. You don't have to do that. You can just pay the toll for the car behind you. You can, I don't know, you can say hello to someone that you don't normally say hello to. Eventually, things will start to happen for you. I don't know whether you ever saw a movie about, let me see, it was about Tuscany, and it was a lady that I liked very much, and she is ending a tearful divorce, and she takes a tour into Tuscany, and she's looking out the bus window and she sees this beautiful house, and it looks in need of restoration, but she just loves the charm of it. And she jumps out of the bus and she goes in and she looks at the house. And anyway, that is the whole story of how she rebuilds that house with all of her wishes coming true. And one of them is that every day she would go out to this little tiny balcony that's on her bedroom, and she would look down and she would see this old man who came along the lane that was below her window, and he would leave a little bunch of flowers on this kind of a shrine in the wall, and she always used to wave to him, you know, just like that, just a little wave and a smile, and he always used to look at her, but he never responded. And this went on, and every day she would go out, and she would go out to a balcony to watch him put his little flowers on this little shrine in memory, we assume it was in memory of a lady that he loved, probably his wife. Anyway, the end of the film brings all of the wishes coming true. It's a wonder. I thought it was a wonderful film. And she smiles down at him, and he looks up, and then finally he tips his hat, and it goes like that. And then he turns and walks away, and she is so delighted. All of those accumulated hellos which never got acknowledged all came through. So it's possible that if you do an act of kindness for someone, they may not respond. They may not be able to respond. Some people are in such a huge amount of pain that they don't know what their face is doing. They're not connected to their face, which is how we express so many emotions. You smile, you raise your eyebrows. In the Philippines, you'll go like that. The upside down nod is what I call that. We get this a lot, that people comment and they say, you should teach those children some manners because they don't say thank you. They do. They say thank you in so many ways. They say thank you by being happy to see you the next week. They say that thank you by just standing by the side of the wall of the church when I pull up in my now bus, and I pull up. The start of my job on Sundays is to go take all of our family, which is Lena, Nanai, Beth, me, and the 7 children, plus 2 or 3 other children who may come to take a ride down in the bus with us instead of walking. Who can blame that? And then on the way today, we picked up Josephine and her sister and uncle, Beth's uncle, and then later another 2 kids. I think so. We don't go in for these huge thank you. No, it's not necessary. It's necessary that people get into the bus, are happy for the lift, and smile and walk away. And that is as big a thank you as sometimes you need. Things are much more subtle here. When you say hello to someone here, sometimes when I'm in the truck and I'm making a lot of noise in that truck, it's a diesel engine, and I'm roaring along, and I'll see coming up in my sights, I'll see a farmer, and he'll be astride his carabao, and he'll be pulling a sled with some rice or provisions on, and I slow right down because I don't want to go roaring past a carabao. I slow right down and I look, and now I've learned the Philippine way to say hello, and I smile and I do that. And all that the man does is he looks at me and goes, and that's hello. It's good enough for me. So let me look at a couple of other things. So thanks for that one, and yes, I bet you slept well tonight. Thank you, Mina. Mina is someone who came into our lives. She lives in Cyprus. She has a family there. She took a shine to a little girl called Lovely, and Lovely lives in the secret village in the mountains. Now, why is it? Is it secret? Doesn't anybody know about it? It's not true. It's one of our titles, which just evolves. We have been sent in this particular place, and the road narrows and narrows and narrows more, and then finally going up and up and up, and then finally the bushes give way, open out onto a flat area, and it's right on top of the hill. If you look at the secret village and look there, we'll show you the view, and there's barely enough space on the top of that hill to turn around, and there's a little collection of houses. And Lovely, when we first went there, Lovely was one of those children who was so incredibly animated. And if you look on my Facebook page, and if you've got the time and you can look through, you will see a photo of a boy skipping. It's a wonderful moment captured on film, and he is a boy. He's in an adult's t-shirt right down to his knees, and he's skipping with joy. And that, I think, is Lovely's brother. And Lovely is this tiny little girl that it doesn't matter what she does, she is the most photogenic of possibly many of the children that I see. And she is full of life, always smiling, and she's always there to meet us when we arrive at the church. So Mina, where does Mina come in? Well, Mina comes in because she decided that she wanted to help Lovely's family, and she wanted to buy Lovely some dresses, and that's what we did. She sent the money, she told us what she wanted us to do, and we did it, and Lovely was so very happy. And then later, which is always nice, Mina sent a little video on her from her phone to mine, and we showed Lovely and her family who Mina is, and Mina told them a little message and how much she loved them, and it was a terrific moment. These moments are wonderful to be a spectator to. It's not me that is involved, it's this little girl and her family. And Mina sent some other stuff today which we thanked her for, but I made it, knowing that she loves this little girl, Lovely, I made a point of showing a lot of shots of Lovely as she was being so cheeky and mischievous in the camera. So Mina, I hope you enjoyed those shots of Lovely. So I've got here a note. I have no idea why I've said it. It says ending in tears. I'm just remembering that my mother, when something was looked like me and my sister, or me and my brother, or all three of us were starting to get a little bit irritated with us, or we were playing a game that wasn't going quite according to the way that it should be, my mother would say, just behave now, this will end in tears. And I've got there ending in tears, so something must have been about to end in tears. So what's the other thing? Exercise. My little sharing of how I consider that I have retained as much physical fitness as I have in my years. And I had people, well, one lady was very concerned, and she said, I think that you should take baby steps. I'll call you Sue, and you'll know who you are. You went into great lengths to talk about heart attacks and about a 70-something-year-old man who had cycled all over everywhere, and then suddenly he had a heart attack and just died. when you get to my age, oh God, I swore that I would never ever use that phrase, when you get to my age, I'm telling you. That's how people used to talk to me in the north of England. Ah, well, when you get to my age, you'll know different, won't you? Now that I am as old as I am, I didn't suddenly think to myself, after having led a sedentary life, sitting on a couch watching football on Manchester United or Manchester City or whoever, I never led that kind of a life. I never led a kind of a life which didn't have some activity in it. I'm not good at spectator sports. I'll get up and try to play something and enjoy that. Spectator stuff, I'm really not interested in it. Cricket, no offense to cricket lovers. In fact, I've disappointed some people in California. I went into a sari store, well, a convenience store it is over there, and it was an Indian man, and when he heard that I was British, he said, "Oh, that's wonderful." He said, I'm just waiting so that I can have a conversation about cricket." And I had to enlighten him. I said, "I'm sorry, sir, it's not going to change. You're still not going to have that conversation. I have no idea about cricket." So, I know that there's a few extremely eccentric ways of describing things. I think a shortstop and a silly mid-off. Go figure. Silly mid-off. I'm sure that somebody who loves cricket will tell me what that means, a silly mid-off, because there's always somebody that is watching who is very knowledgeable on things which I express my ignorance in. So, exercise. I've been exercising all my life. I'm a cyclist, a swimmer, a walker. I am a compulsive walker. Walking is actually better for you, in my estimation, just my opinion, because you don't start to waste away your muscle. As soon as you reach a certain point of it being aerobic, it becomes anaerobic, and the body starts to conserve energy in terms of fat. And what else can it burn? Well, it burns muscle. That's the last thing that you want. So a walk of 30 or 40 minutes is much more beneficial to you in many, many ways than running. But I know people who absolutely are passionate about running, and good on you. I'm not good at it. I don't enjoy it too much, although I have done. I prefer walking, especially now that I'm in the hills and I can hear the sound of my own footsteps. I count that as being a huge benefit. So, don't worry about me, because I am not about to have a heart attack by having some extreme press put on me, or pressure, or stress. I did that little walk. It is an extremely steep walk, as one of our friends and subscribers from Australia, Kerry, said. He said that he took a video when he was here of that steep walk from the bridge up to the house, and he said for some reason he could not capture the steepness of what it was like. But if you listen to the sound, close your eyes, listen as we go up from the bridge in the truck, and listen. It can't make it up that hill in second gear in a diesel. It just about does it. First gear, listen to the revs. It's working hard, and I worked just as hard, and I did it real time, so that you will be able to see that there is life after 70 or life after 60 for some of you. And according to Kerry, it took 4 minutes for me to regain normal breathing. Now, I used to train with a friend of mine. We used to do rollerblading in California, and whenever we got back home after a pretty strenuous couple of goes around Balboa Park, for those of you who have lived in the San Fernando Valley, Balboa Park is a great place for doing rollerblading, and we would push the envelope going around there. And when we got home once, he was there, and he was holding up his wrist like this and taking his pulse to check the same thing that Kerry did. Well, when I told him what my pulse was, his was up in the way over 100, and I told him what mine was, and he didn't believe me. That's because my pulse when I was younger used to be down way below 50, right? It would often be 44, 45 resting. And I just took my pulse a little while ago. I'm sitting here at the desk, so I'm not doing anything strenuous, and I'm not stressed or worried or anything like that, which can affect the pulse. And I'm taking my pulse, and it was 56. It was 56 resting. Now, most people are up around 70 or 80. And now the dogs have started. And I've got one with a falsetto voice. So I hope you're going to be able to work through that. So, what can I say next? Some things... Well, one thing that someone said was, some things are gross and some things are not. I'm going to take a little break. Well, things quieting down a little bit, so I'll continue. The thing about living up on the hill is that we have many dogs. I think we have, either 5 or 6 dogs right now. We recently bought Pogie, the little white puppy that looks like he's covered in sheepskin, and we have another black puppy, and we also have 4 or 5 dogs. Plus we have dogs that just walk in and stay. They come as guests. They're attacked and pushed away at first, and then after that, well, they get kind of accepted. You just get used to them, and they stay, and they become our dogs. That's how the old warrior dog came in. So anyway, what's this? The next thing. Yeah, some things are gross and some things are not. He didn't make any explanation, but I thought that was funny. It made me smile. So, Nana, that was a funny one, because someone saw that Nana was using the bolo, the machete, the bolo. Actually, Beth and Nana call it the sword, but whatever. She was using the sword, and the sword is well, let me see. I can't get you in the screen, can I? It's like this long, 18 inches to 2 feet long, and she was using it to crack open some of those shells, that shellfish that we tried to get me to eat, which I absolutely refused on. And she was doing that, but she was doing it on the little concrete patch that's at the foot of one of the support posts. And someone said, oh, I thought that Nanai was chopping Beth's porch post down. Heaven forbid. So what's the other one? Remove. Now this I thought was funny, because the sub that started on this particular tag and asked this particular question, she was a little bit surprised that we had discussed death. Now, when we made that fun video, we did that fun video, and we started to discuss, just spontaneously actually, we started to discuss what would happen when I die. Would I want to be buried? And we were talking about this because I've been reading about it in a book, and it was saying that as far as progressing as a spiritual being, not not trying to get all religious now. But as you progress, if you believe perhaps in reincarnation, well, then this would apply. Hold on one more second, I have to kill a dog. Okay, now for your worrywarts, of course I didn't kill a dog, okay? Some of you are very short on dry humour, you know that. But what was I saying? Remove... Ah, that's right. We were talking about till death do us part. That's what we called that. We called it till death do us part, and I've been reading about the effects of being buried, which according to the author of the book that I was reading, this was not a good idea, because the spirit actually has its own unique makeup. It's a spirit. It has no position in space. It's something that is there. We're talking about the soul. We're talking about the spirit. Talking about that essence that leaves the body. The one that leaves the body. That's what we're talking about. And I was saying that in order to progress and perhaps ascend to another life in another, I don't know, in another dimension, whatever your concept of heaven, or moving on, going into a higher ascendancy, then you need to be cremated, so that there is an in-between. There's an in-between kind of, well, if you were to talk in terms of the computer, there's an in-between app. You know that sometimes you need an app to be able to get your computer to do certain things. So you put the app in, and the app is the go-between between the two. And think of you as the spirit, and the computer as the body, and the app as perhaps the soul, or the soul helper. It's a difficult subject, okay? So we were talking about that. So the woman says, "Oh, talking about that," but then she said, "But anyway, going on from there, Beth, will you get married once? Will you remarry once that Terence passes on?" which I thought was quite funny. In other words, the subject that opened this up was not really very funny, but it was okay to go on and talk about me as if I was gone, and that I thought was funny. A little bit quirky, but funny. What's the other one? Now, we do get people appear on our channel, and they're looking, it seems to me, let's face it, I have to make my own assessments, and I make my own assessments based on the experience that I've had over the last 2 years of running, along with Beth, my partner, of running this channel. And we've had many tens of thousands of people coming through. Some have stayed, as you know, 55,000 have stayed, and some never did stay, because they came not to be in harmony with the idea of our feel-good channel, but to argue it. And they usually are very, can we say, opinionated is not the right way to describe it. They have firm opinions, and those firm opinions do not allow for anybody to disagree with them. They are fact. In other words, they're not stated as their opinion, they're stated as if it's fact. Now, this is not an opinion, this is a fact. It can be seen to be a flashlight. There's nothing to agree on or decide on that. You may say, well, I'm Russian and it's not called a flashlight in my... Okay, by any other name, it's a flashlight. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. But then there are other things which are not facts. When people come on and they talk about things strictly in a biblical sense, then this is open to interpretation. That's the point. It's open to interpretation. Now, the only kind of comment which I don't like and get rid of is the comment that makes a derogatory statement about anyone. And I hope I get rid of all of these, but especially about Filipinas and Filipinos. If you want to come on and argue that Filipino men are lazy, good for nothing, not trustworthy, will run away, you'll have to find somewhere else to do that. And if you want to come on and say that all Filipinas are after money and will not love you, they'll only use you, you have to find somewhere else to go. And believe me, I'm not talking about whether I'm concerned about trolls, because I've more or less got that handled now. I'm not going to take any of those things which are stated as if they're absolutely fact. This is fact. Filipinos will do this to you. No, that's not fact. Some may not. Is it possible that a great age gap can be overcome? Not by everybody, but for me, it worked. So am I going to listen to someone say, well, the guy's too old and the girl's too young and it's not going to work and it's a load of BS? No, you're gone. I don't provide a platform for people to argue their opinion as if it's fact. You're gone. What else can I say? Yes, now somebody just wrote a really interesting comment, and they said that they were this. Can I say this man's name? I think it was Arthur. I'm not sure. I think it was Arthur, and he is considering. He didn't say his age, but he's considering giving up his present career and going on a Peace Corps mission. He doesn't say where that's going to be. I'm looking forward to finding out about this, but I love it when someone tells me, when I can share with someone that they're about to make a huge leap of faith into doing something which I don't know whether he is qualified or not, but he's going on a Peace Corps mission, and it's going to take 2 years, and he's going to commit to that for 2 years. And I said, wow, please keep in touch. Please allow me to share that with our subscribers, with you guys. I'd love to find out what that means, what the heck it feels like when you get there. You're going to arrive at the site of wherever it is that you're going to be there, and you're going to be there as a member of the Peace Corps. And I'd love to know more about this. I don't know whether it's religious, I don't know whether it's one denomination or another, whether it could be, for all I know, it could be the Mormons, it could Jehovah's Witness. I have no idea, but I would love to know more. I would love to share that adventure. One of the most exciting people that well, it's very difficult because we have some exciting visitors. We've had a man who is a judge. He is in New Zealand, and he is a justice of the peace. And with that kind of job, Kevin, I'm sure that he won't mind my telling his first name, Kevin. But we met with Kevin when he donated the cement mixer, and then he came and stayed with us. He stayed with us for a short time, and then he went off and he stayed with his girlfriend. And on our talks with Kevin, lots of different ways of thinking emerged, because he's come from the bench. He's come from listening to cases apparently brought against people, having to decide on things and having to be able to look very clearly at how something is or should or may evolve. And I learned a great deal from Kevin. Pikiko, he calls himself, Pikiko. So it's difficult to choose one. We also had Tracy. We called him the Australian explorer, or the Australian adventurer, because he had equipped himself with something like a 4 or 5 ton truck towing a trailer, and was actually travelling all over Australia and could actually be self-supporting for 3 weeks at a time. Solar panels, water treatment plant, washer, dryer, water, just an amazing man, and then we had our Antarctic explorer. How could you ever meet a man who has taken a job in the Antarctic? It's an amazing thing to talk to someone who says that his exterior environment is so harsh that if he removes his glove and his hand is there for more than a couple of minutes, it will freeze solid. And then he discovered, he shared how his job is and what this close-knit community of people are doing down there in the Antarctic, and how they have to keep communications going. Amazing stuff. It really is. Well, these are great adventurers, these people, and they're doing extraordinary things. And then these are just 3 of the people that we've done and been involved with. We had Wilbert come and stay with us. Now Wilbert was the one that brought me the Born to be Wild doll toy, which I still get up in the morning and I still play that Wilbert Born to be Wild, and it's about 4 or 6 bars of Born to be Wild, and I play it and it makes me smile. How bad is that? And Wilbert came. Boy, now there's an adventurer. Wilbert wanted to go fishing with Filipino fishermen, and he went, and the boat wasn't something that you would be going on voluntarily, but he did. Wilbert did that. Now Wilbert was a big guy, and he went with the fishermen, and he went out, and he was out for most of the day. He ate seaweed. I thought it was quite funny, and so did my friend Brian. But the fishermen that he was with from the little fishing community that we knew, because we built one of the houses for one of those poor fishermen, and he said, this is seaweed, and you can eat this seaweed. So Wilbert, adventurer that he is, said, well, let me taste it. So the fisherman said, oh, wait a minute, let me wash it first. And then he dipped it in the sea and shook it in the sea and then handed it to Wilbert, who, God bless him, actually ate some of it. So he went back afterwards without us knowing, took a tricycle down there. He went to Taliban, he got a load of groceries, put them in the tricycle, I'm guessing, and he went back to that small community, and he gave some boxes of provisions, of groceries, which he knew that would be shared out among most of the people that he had shared some quality time with. Great people. Now, I've probably gone way over what I should do now, and Beth will be wanting to murder me, because the longer videos that I make take longer to upload. So I will actually, somebody said, how is the unfaithful husband's family doing? They're doing very well. We still get groceries down to them. Grek is the little girl that comes to church with us every day. She is one of the kids that I pick up every day, every Sunday, and bring to church. So in among those girls, Grek is there, and she is one of the children of the unfaithful husband. The three little girls' mum. I'll do this quickly. Three little girls' mum. Now, it's actually four little girls, and as you may now know, she's had a child. She's had a little boy, and I'm the godfather to that little boy. So we are closely connected to these kids and that family. The husband is working, I believe, in Tagdalaran, so he's only an occasional visitor. So the mom went through a depression after the postnatal depression, and was very bad. It was very worrying, but it was another way of finding out just how close-knit these little families are. These are all girls. In with that, there's Angelica, who is the eldest, and then there's Yan Yan, and then let me see, there's Bidui, let me see, and Bujin, who Beth calls Spaghetti, because when she said one time, what do you want to eat? Bujin kept saying, spaghetti! So after that, nicknames very common in the Philippines, she became Spaghetti, for us that is. Now, the mom is looking terrific. She is over that depression, and she was really very bad, almost zombie-like, you know. There was just nobody in there. And now she's recovered, she's smiling, happy, joking, and it's wonderful to see. And during that time of really needing help, those girls rallied around and took care of their mom. Now, obviously, the lady's mother is there as well, so that's it. But it all fell to the senior girl, who is a mother of a mother, and that was Angelica. And Angelica did this incredible job of taking care of mom. And now, when I pick the kids up, Angelica comes and sits next to me in the front, and I say, how is your mom? And she says, she's fine. So that's a job well done, we feel. So I'll end off here. I've waffled on too much, but it is late night, so it's a late night meandering. Thanks for being with us. You can keep on giving. You can keep on helping. Don't have to come to us to help. You can go direct. You can touch somebody on the shoulder who probably hasn't physically been touched since their husband or their wife died. And that's a very common thing of older people who live alone and are seldom visited by their children, or they don't have any children, and they lose a lifelong partner to death, and nobody ever touches them. Can you imagine that? Nobody ever puts a hand on their shoulder and says, how are you? That would be one huge thing to do. But not much of an effort for you. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.